Hi, I'm Mitch Gallagher. Welcome to the Sweetwater Minute. We are at GearFest 2014 with Dave Aude. Thanks for being here, man.
Mitch, thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. You're here on behalf of Waves?
I'm here on behalf of the good people at Waves.
Yes, wonderful stuff, wonderful stuff. So, an amazing career. You've done so many things and had so much success. I mean, everything from 95 Billboard's #1 singles, is that right?
97 now.
97 now?
I know.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to short
I'm
you
sorry.
there.
It's just like this week I got 97, yeah.
So 100 is just around the corner.
I hope so. I hope so.
Yes, it'll be your centennial single.
And then I'm going to stop counting. I decided, by the way. Once I hit 100, it's just like, that's it. Because it doesn't matter. I mean, it was kind of cool to say 100, and then once I hit that, then I'm done counting.
Right. So how do you go from starting out as a 22-year-old MIDI instructor to working with Moonshine Records to then being this tremendous success on Billboard and all the remixes and your own record label and your own podcast and music director for Pussycat Dolls on tour and all these things that you do? How did you develop all of those different avenues that you're working on?
You know, I think just loving what you do is number one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I love getting up every day, and I'm still amazed that I get to make music for a living, because it's what I always wanted to do. You know, what I do today for a living, I didn't even know was a job when I was growing up. So discovering that and sort of falling into that. MIDI instructor, you know, I wasn't even a teacher. I mean, I didn't even think I was going to teach, but I got my first keyboard when I was 13, which probably isn't a big deal these days. But when I was 13, it was kind of a big deal. So I sort of had a knowledge of MIDI and recording by the time I was 22 that most 25 or 30-year-olds didn't have. So I found myself teaching in LA at what's now the LA Recording School, MIDI, and I was actually teaching tape editing then too. Wow. Which is non-existent now. Nobody knows tape editing anymore. But people used to edit tape, kind of crazy.
Razor blades and
splicing tape, and that. So I did that for a while, and I was just very fortunate and in the right place at the right time. In a couple situations, starting the record label Moonshine in the 90s. I was in the club. The guy that ran the club said he wanted to start a label. So I was there, learned a lot there. And the remixing thing, I sort of just was, again, right place, right time, making music. People needed remixes. I was there, spent lots of hours in the night perfecting my skills. I'm still perfecting my skills. Sure. And really just always had the dream of doing this, and so I spent a lot of time honing my skills, which I still am today. You have to. Things change, technology changes, and I'm just very, very fortunate, and I just feel very, very, very lucky. I've lucked out a lot.
I don't know.
I think
you have to be prepared to step in, because even things like you had a platinum album with Lindsay Lohan. Well, that you engineered, right?
You know, I've had a lot of fun things in my career. I recorded the vocals on her only 2 albums. So I could tell you stories about that, which we won't get into right now. But I've done that. I've done records for Yoko Ono. I did a record with Betty White a couple years ago. Things like that, just totally weird things that come along. Right. That don't really come along to normal people making music. So I've had a lot of I've done a record with Sting. It's just a lot of fun things that when I look at the list, I'm like, wow, I forgot all about that, but crazy.
Right. Interesting things.
Yeah.
Interesting. Is how do you find those gigs? Do they come to you? Are you putting yourself out there? Is it just one thing leading to another?
Well, it's one thing leading to another. I think it's important to always respect everybody, because everybody has different tastes in music, and everybody has different objectives, and they want to do different things. You never know who might be your intern today might end up being the president of a record label in a few years.
Right.
Or, so it's important that you remember that you weren't always successful maybe, or doing records for Rihanna or Katy Perry or whatever. But there's a time when you're emptying the trash in a studio, which I don't think I ever did. But I was at a place at one point where I was doing manufacturing at a record label, and then in the evenings I was making music. So remember to be humble and thankful, and to be nice to everybody, because you never know who's going to be where, and because you'll find out it's a very small world. Even though it's a huge world, it's also a very small world, and there's people that will always, you'll keep seeing them now and again pop up here and there, and they'll be doing something else, and maybe they couldn't help you before, or they didn't want to work with you before, but now they can.
Right.
And just remember that, and I think that will add to your success. You never know where the next project's going to come from, so you just have to have all of your options open.
Right. And I think it works the other way. When I talk to people who are as successful as someone like yourself, a lot of times they're just as giving, to give that back, to notice who you can help and who you can give a hand up.
Another very important thing. In fact, that's kind of where Waves comes in. Just 6 months ago, for some crazy reason, I decided, I'm going to start, when I go DJ on the weekends, I'm going to just get there a couple hours early and tell people that if they want to come by, I'm going to talk for an hour about producing, engineering, mixing. And I've had 10 people show up, and I've had 100 people show up. For free. I don't charge, there's no charge or anything. I just do it. And Waves is kind of backing me on this because I'm involved with them. And it's turned out really cool. I have a lot of people that come out, and I'm just it's my way of kind of giving back. And I mean, I'm not like coming from an egotistical place. I don't know everything, but if I can maybe give some people some advice that I didn't get when I was younger, that maybe help them think about doing something a different way. And it's not necessarily just engineering or mixing, it's also record business or publishing or time management or songwriting, all these things that have taken me 20 years to learn. Sure.
So let's talk a little bit about remixing, because I think sometimes people misunderstand how that works. They think you're just chopping up beats or whatever, but there's a lot more to it, isn't? Sometimes there is, but do you start from an a cappella? Do you get just the vocal from an artist, like say a Katy Perry or a Lady Gaga or somebody like that? Do you just get the bare vocal and then you're left on your own to do the whole thing, or how does that work?
Let's tell you how that works. So we'll take, for instance, I just did a Beyonce song called Partition. It's going to actually hit 1 million plays on my SoundCloud tomorrow.
Wow.
So great. I'm very proud of this. It's a new thing for me. It's twerk, which is there's always these fun genres coming up, and it's one of those new genres called twerk, trap twerk. And the label sent me the full session. So I got a stem session, which means mixed stems, drums, bass, guitars. I don't think there's any guitars in that song, the original. Keyboards, vocals. So sometimes I get that, sometimes I get just the vocal. But to reiterate, remixing and producing is the same thing.
Okay.
Except when you're remixing a song, you have somewhere to start, right? Producing a song, obviously, you're starting from scratch, usually a brand new song, and you can go this direction, this direction, this direction. Same thing with remixing. I can go this direction, or this direction, but I have this vocal I have to use. So I know the key of the song is going to be this, and that's it. And the tempo, well, the tempos usually can be wherever I kind of want it to be. You don't want to go crazy with tempo, although I have mixed every tempo record there is. Some should have been mixed, some probably shouldn't have been mixed, but I've done it all. I've done it all. I've done every. I just did Amy Grant, a record. Her biggest hit called Baby Baby. They're re-releasing it, so they wanted to do some mixes. And what was the original tempo on that? It was probably 85, maybe 95, 100.
Okay.
So I had to speed up the vocal, and it actually worked out pretty good. I couldn't go my usual 128, 130. I think I ended up at 123. So a little slower. But so remixing and producing is pretty much the same thing. And I'm not just chopping up the original stuff, I'm redoing the entire song. Amy Grant, all the music's brand new. I didn't use any music from the original. Beyonce Partition, I actually think I used maybe one of the riffs, one of the keyboard riffs, which I try and do, which keeps the essence of the original song. It's not, my job isn't just to tear everything up and rip it apart. My job is to try and keep the essence of the vocal, the essence of the song, the essence of the artist. It's not, I don't do these things for me, I do it for the artist. And a lot of people forget that.
So do they contact you, or are you out there seeking these out?
They do. Well, fortunately, they do contact me. I've been doing it long enough where a lot of times they do contact me. Once in a while, I hear a song that I really like, and if it's early enough in the project's life, I contact the label. Like Ariana Grande has the #1 record right now. I think it's great. Problem. So I told the label I want to do a mix. They said sure. So Scooter Braun, her manager, said, yeah, let's have Dave do a mix. So that's a very rare thing, though. I don't usually go after things. In this case, I did, though. So it's,
Something you want to pursue.
Yeah, it'll work out, hopefully.
Right.
If you don't hear it, it didn't work out.
Yeah,
if
right.
you hear it, it worked out.
Right, exactly. So if somebody wants to get started doing remixes, how do they do that? Do they find a band that's recording, or how do they start?
Exactly. You find bands that are recording, friends band, people that are just have songs on SoundCloud, reach out to them. Maybe it's not a big band. Obviously, if they're just starting out, they're probably going to be more apt to having you do a remix, maybe, and they'll probably get back to you. There's also a lot of acapellas floating around the internet. So grab one of those acapellas and do a mix and put it up on your SoundCloud, even though SoundCloud will probably take it down, but because they're doing that right now. But promote it, and somebody will hear it. This is how every remixer that has a name has gotten started. They do something. Nobody's heard of this person. They do something cool. Somebody hears it, and then they have a career. That's exactly it.
Right.
You got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And it might not happen on the first one. You might have to do 10. You might have to do 15, 20. I don't know. I've done at this point probably I've done 500 remixes.
Wow.
A lot.
So that's how you hone your craft.
Maybe not 500. Maybe 400. A lot.
497.
Maybe somewhere. I can't. I think it must be more because I can't think that 1/5 of them have all gone to one. That's kind of crazy. So it must be more. I should probably figure that out one of these days.
Count them all up.
Yeah, that's too many.
Right.
You know what? They're all on my Wikipedia. I should just count that.
There you go.
One of these days I got to count.
There you go. So what kind of gear do you need if you're going to do a remix?
Good question. Right now, 2014, a computer. And some good speakers, and that's it. And a good sounding room, and good ears. Those are the essentials. Right. Now, what else you need on top of that? That's the basics. On top of that is some good sounds. A couple good sounds I like right now. My go-to for sounds, it's very basic. It's nothing deep. REFX Nexus 2, because there's a million sounds, and when I'm working really really quick, I can work on. I'm working on 4, 5, 6 things a day. And REFX Nexus 2 has really good sounds right now. So I can pull those up, get it done, and then replace the sounds if I want to later with some synths that I love. Like UHE has a good synth, really fun synth called Diva, which I really like. It's kind of fat. Takes up a lot of CPU. That's the only problem with that. So that's why you want to do Nexus first and then maybe replace with something like that. Okay. Obviously, the great pads and strings for years, Omnisphere, made by Spectrasonics. Man, I wish I could sit here and tell you I've been using a lot of my analog synths because I have a ton of analog synths over the years, but haven't been turning them on too much lately. But if I do turn them on, Studio Electronics SE1 Classic, or some of my old Roland synths. I still use my Roland 990 for some cool Roland sort of string paddy stuff. Right. Nord lead I still use a little bit here and there, and then I have a lot of drum machines. I have a Studio Electronics guys actually modded my Roland 808. Nice. Which you can record an 808, and you can have an 808 sample library. Doesn't sound like 808. I don't know what it is. If you have an actual 808, it sounds better than any library I've heard. People record 808s. Why don't they sound like my 808? I have no idea. It's crazy. Right. You can record a TR-707 or a 727 or even a Linn drum or a 909 actually too. It's one of those things where you got to kind of adjust some of those knobs on the kick and the snare and the ride cymbal. You're not going to get that from a sample library. But some of the other drums, I said, the 707, 727, Linn, OB, I have all these drum machines, but you need the real 808. You need the real 909. Right. For sure.
But virtual instruments will let you get
I don't know. It's weird. We have technology. Somebody can make a good library, and I'm sure they're out there. I just haven't come across it. Maybe I need to do some more research. Maybe I don't know.
So how does the Wave stuff work in? You have a bundle with them, the EMP.
I have a bundle. You know, Waves is they're sort of like figured out that there's this big electronic, dance music movement. So they've got me involved. They've got Morgan Page doing a bundle, and I just sort of picked 6 plugins that I love that are in my bundle, and one of them, like TransX, people don't really know how to use it, so I find myself talking a lot about that and how to use it with transients and softening things up, or more attack on certain drums or keyboards and stuff. Or there's the C6, which sounds good side chaining and also sounds good on strings. There's the L3, which is just basically your standard on my master fader for level. There's also, Waves has great synth. That's in there. They have 1 synth right now. What was my 6th plugin? I always forget.
I don't recall either.
I don't recall either, and I should probably remember. But you know what? Go look. There's so many. I have so many cool plugins. I love Waves has a new plugin called Vitamin, which I love, and I've been finding myself putting that on a lot of drums. And it's just one of those new plugins. It's new. It's fun. So right now I'm using it on a lot of drum kits. If I have a drum loop and I want to bring out certain elements or drums in the actual loop itself, it's a great tool for that.
Right.
Also using, what other Waves things do I love recently? Well, my go-to, I know what it was. It's the H delay. H delay, my go-to delay, which is just, why is it great? You know why it's great? It's easy to use. Quick, easy, bam.
Right.
Throw it in there, bam. I was using Sound Toys, Echo Boy for a long time. Great delay, kind of just a little bit too much. You want just a quick now delay. It's already got the tempo, kind of make 2 adjustments and go. H delay. So that's why.
Let's get the job done fast.
Yeah. You want something a little more boutique-y, then you go to something else.
Right. Awesome.
Yeah.
We will look forward to Billboard single number 100.
I don't know. Everybody's like, what's it going to be? And it could be, I don't know. Hopefully it's a record that I like. I mean, look, I like them all, right? But
sure.
I mean, hopefully it's something close to my heart. I'm
sure it will be able to be
it's interesting, right? What's it going to be? The number 100.
Right. Big moment.
Yeah, they're all big moments. Every number 1 shouldn't be taken for granted.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Congratulations on your success. We are
Thank you, Mitch.
So glad to have you here.
Thanks
for sharing your knowledge with both in your workshop that you're doing and your demonstrations that you're doing and stuff, and with us here. We appreciate you taking the time.
I enjoy it, and I'm having a great time. It's beautiful out here.
Isn't it nice?
Beautiful day, and
we got a crowd of people.
I had no idea this was even here. It's like a city.
Yeah.
It's like seeing a new city.
Yeah, it's amazing. People from all over the world.
If you like making music, you're just like a kid in a candy store out there.
Yep, everything you want.
So I'm going to go back out and eat some more candy.
There you go. Have fun.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm Mitch Gallagher. Thanks for joining me for the Sweetwater Minute.